Hi everyone, it's Kim. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk about lights in our cards or lighting up our cards. And I was very excited at Creativation to visit the Pear Blossom Press booth. They are the creators of the lights that we're going to look at today. I felt like I was in a creative candy store. I was just so amazed at what all we could do with these lights. And they have different types of lights that we can use in our cards. So we're going to start out with the most basic light. It's called One Light. So when I press here, you can see how one light lights up. And let me show you what the back of or what the light looks like. They have different packaging. So you could get, I believe there's a package with just 2 lights. This is a package with 5 lights. So you can determine what packaging you want. Just get on their website, pearblossom.com, and check out all the varieties that they have. But I'm going to share with you what I ordered today. So I had the 5-pack. These just break apart, and then the batteries come with them. So you just put the plus side of the battery, you slide the plus side up, which matches the plus side here. And then this little kind of orange thing over here is the light. Very, very bright. And we'll take a look at how bright those lights are in a minute. And then this little button over here is what you press to turn it on. So we put this in our card and you can position these in different ways. So in this one, I've got my light over here. When I press this, there's my light, but my button is over here. So I can move this around however you want to position it in your card. You've got basically this much space to be away from the light. The button, the light is probably, I think I measured about 1¼ inches approximately. So you can move this around. If I wanted to have my button over here, I could have done that. Totally up to you. Play around with positioning. And I'm not going to go into great detail on how I put these together because there's a lot of videos out there with people showing you exactly what they did. I will share the inside of the rest of my cards so you can see what I did. And I kind of played around and did a system that was easy for me. You might find a different system out there that you like better, that works better for you. So our basic card, one light card, put the light, position the little button, and you will have to mark that so your recipient knows what they should do so they know that their card will light up. A couple things that I want to show you that I did use in all my cards. The first one is the stamps. So they have push, pull, blow, press. Press here is what I use. So kind of just depending on maybe the size and location will determine which one of these that you can use. There's also some candle lights. You'll notice on a lot of the packaging, there's usually a birthday card. So this is a one light birthday card, one candle. And I can use these for the flame. Here's a little light bulb handmade for you. And there are also some dies included on this. So if you want to cut out a different size flame, you're able to do that. A couple things that I did not use, but if you are making birthday candles, you should be aware of. They do have these cute little candlesticks or candles that you can just glue on. And then they have the flame. So if you want a pre-colored flame here, this feels like little plastic flames. There's some different sizes. You can use those together and put the light bulb underneath that flame. So some neat things out there that you can use to put on your card to help your recipient, especially know where to press it to turn that light on. So for this one, I had a great time thinking, how am I going to use these lights? I knew I had this brand new die set from Altenew. This is called Antique Street Lamp. There's 2 different sizes of lamps, but I thought, wow, what a cool way to light this lamp up. And then for my paper, I have a package from Stamps by Me called Great Outdoors. There were several night scenes, some street night scenes, and I thought that would be ideal to put a street light on and then let it light it up. I am going to put a sentiment on here. I'm waiting for the Better Press set to come in from Spellbinders about You Light Me Up. I can't remember all of them. I know we looked at some of those Better Press sentiments, but that's what I'm waiting for to put on this card. The other thing you need to know is you need some foam, double-sided foam tape, because we need to be able to accommodate the width of this light. And I believe this is an 1/8 inch thick foam tape. Now, I didn't have any black foam tape, I just had white, but that's okay because now you can see it much easier in the card base. I will show you another option that you can use if you don't have the foam tape. If you have thinner foam tape, obviously you could stack it on top of each other, lay down a strip and then put another strip on top. But it's all enclosed in there, and that width of the foam tape accommodates that light. So let me show you some of the other lights, and I'm going to open up the card so you can see what it looks like on the inside. So here is one. We looked at this truck before from Spellbinders. Again, a brand new release from them. This might be perfect for Father's Day or a masculine card. Again, it tells me to press. So I'm going to come over here and press. And I know it's hard to see the light, so I have a little box. Let me see if I do it this way. Maybe we can see it a little better. But my headlights light up and my tail light. So because there's 3 lights in there, that means I have a 3-light mechanism. So it works the same way. You put your battery in. There's the little button to press, which I have hidden away here. And then I have 3 lights coming off of this. And we're going to open the card up and take a look at that. On this birthday cake that they have on their packaging, there are 3 lights. And you can see 3 lights right here. So these work the same as the 1 light, except now you have 3 lights. So let me open this up, and you can see a little bit of what I have. Here's that mechanism, the lighting mechanism. I can press this, and you can only really see 1 light outright. My other one's hidden under here, and the other one's over here to match the car on the front. Now, I probably put these on the opposite of what you're going to see on a lot of the videos. A lot of people put the lights on this side, and then when they close this down, the lights come through on their card front, but they've had to take where the holes are on their card front and mark it on this card base. For me, that was a challenge. So I just built pretty much everything on my card top, on the decorative part, and then added it to the base. This is probably also backwards from what you're going to see on a lot of the cards out there on YouTube. This would normally probably be flipped over so that this would be on the other side and you would be pressing this little button directly from the top. But even though mine is backwards compared to most of the videos, as you can see, once this is closed, it still works just fine. Just as long as whoever's pressing it, and whether I pick it up or set it down, if I press it in the right spot, there's pressure on this on the back side, so it still works. You can obviously tape down these little wires because once you put your lights in place, they kind of flop around, so you can tape them down. I don't have double-sided foam tape, but this is that fun foam, and it's about 1/8 of an inch. I think I got this at Hobby Lobby, and I can just cut it up and glue it down. So it does the same thing as the sticky foam tape. Then if I wanted to glue this down, I would just put glue here and press it down on my card base. Now, one thing that I kind of got hung up about, and I'm going to have to get over this, was, well, what happens when that battery dies? Now, most people are just going to enjoy it and play with it and then probably set it aside. But I'm like, well, what if you wanted to change the battery? You would have to like rip this card apart if you wanted to get in there and change that battery. So this is another reason I did what I did. I made my card base separate, and then I put my foam strips on my card, I should say, the top of my card, and then this would be my card base. I put little strips, just 2 little strips in here to make a hinge, and then I put my either foam tape or my fun foam over this, and then I glue the other half of the strip down on my card base. And what I'm going to do on this one is put 2 of those little mini glue dots. I could put 2, 3, and then that will hold my card closed. Now, I will have to put some instructions on the very back of the card saying, hey, if your battery dies, and you want to replace it, just gently pull this off from the card front, because those smaller glue dots are not that strong that you can't kind of pry it apart. Again, that's my hang up, that I want to be able to replace the battery. Think about who you're sending it to. They may not ever care to do that. Or if it is somebody you think, oh, yeah, they might want to replace it, this is an option to do that. I spent a great deal of time thinking how I could do this. So this is one way where they can open up the card and pop this battery, slide this battery out, and put a new battery in. Again, 99% of your recipients probably will have no interest in doing that. So take the easier way out and just seal that baby up and call it good. The truck that I used is the Timeless truck from Spellbinders. This is from their new collection. Now, if we look at this, there's 2 headlights, but I have 3 lights in my mechanism. So I don't want to waste one of those lights. So I thought I'll add a tail light. And all I did for the tail light is I cut out the mirror here in vellum, colored it with a red Sharpie, and then just attached it to the back end of my truck. You will need to poke holes through the card top, so that the light can shine through. So if you don't poke a hole, the light will have no place to go. So there's little holes. I just took a little pokey tool and poked through, and then that way I can line my light up right underneath. The other thing I had to keep in mind was, if I totally blew this, I could take the card apart, and the expense in this card is this little light, and start over. It is just paper, so this is a thing that, I don't want to mess up, and I can start over. So just bear that in mind. Don't get like, oh my gosh, if I don't have it perfect, I've just ruined that light. No, you can pull your card apart and save that light. So there we go with a masculine card, and I just use one of the stamps here and then cut out, just, they have to see that it's where to press, but I wanted it to blend in a little bit with my background of my card. So that's the 3 light card. So let's move on. I'm going to use my box again when I do this. I need to make this a little darker because this is a night scene. And this time my moon lights up. And if we look real close here, you'll see that there's 5 lights on this. We can see 4 here, and there's another one that's kind of tucked out underneath the moon. And this is a halo light. So on the combo that I got, I have 2 halo lights and 4 single lights. So these are the single lights. And let me pull this one off. And it works the same as the first 1 lights that we saw. Excuse me, this is a 1 light, not a halo light. But let me just show you here the difference. So it's a little different size. It's a little taller and skinnier than the first 1 light that we saw. So just be aware of that. But again, this is one of the packaging options. So I can get 2 halo lights, and then I have 4 of these single lights in here. So let me open this up. You can see on the packaging how they used it on a fish tank. So the lights shine inward. So let's open this up. Again, I probably have it upside down, but it really doesn't matter because the lights shine inward. So let me turn this on. And it'll be hard to see, but boy, these babies are bright. So if you look directly at them, you'll know you're looking at a bright light. So the halo goes towards the inside, so the lights are not on the outside, but they shine inwards. But I thought this still works great for my moon. What else could I use this for? I could use it for a sun. Maybe you have a sunrise coming up. Look at some of the samples that are out there on YouTube. It's amazing. One that I saw at the show used this halo light for like a spaceship. And I don't know if the spaceship was taking off or landing, but they had these lights, and then the spaceship was just positioned so it looked like they were at the bottom. Some really neat ideas out there. So I encourage you to get online, check them out. I think this is a really neat design to use those halo lights. Again, you can position this. I could have moved this around because the halo lights or the lights are positioned equally around this circle. So I could have moved this piece around, and I could have maybe had my push point where my little button is to turn the lights on down here. Anywhere in here would have worked. So again, try to think a little bit in advance. What am I going to decorate it on the outside with? And then just kind of play around with the positioning. So when you get all the pieces together, they're ready to go. Now I'm using vellum on this, so I didn't need to punch a hole by each light. I did cut out the cardstock though underneath this moon and put this vellum. So you can see here how I just have vellum and the cardstock is cut away so I can expose those lights for the outside. And again, once you do one of them, you'll learn more by doing. That's what happened to me than by just sitting there thinking, how will this work? When I actually went to do it, then it became very obvious what I needed to do. And I used that fun foam again. So I can just put glue on that if I decide not to leave it exposed and just press it down. Or if you have black foam tape, double-sided sticky, you're set to go. Just make sure, again, you tell your recipient where to push the button. If you don't do that, they're going to totally waste all your lights because they're not going to know what to do with it. So I just put push on one of my little bats there. And this is where I had fun going back and pulling out some old dies. This is that moon die that I absolutely love from Tim. This is called Moonlight, and the bats came in this set. And this paper is from Crafter's Companion. I believe I didn't pull that, but there's a lot of night scene type of paper out there. So just think what else you could do with the halo lights. Now, I am going to be honest, these are not inexpensive lights. There is a cost to them, but when you look at what all goes into making them, that is very understandable. So I will only be sending these cards to people who can truly appreciate them and will play with them and enjoy them and not be like, oh, well, that's kind of cool, and then toss it aside. So bear that in mind who you might want to send these to, just because there is an expense with the lights. We looked at this one before. This is the one where you blow it out. So this is perfect for candles. You press it, then you blow it out. And so we have to have this little thing exposed. So I started like, okay, I need to make a candle. This is using the candlelight mechanism. And we'll take, you see the battery there, and you can sort of see the mechanism. We'll take a closer look at that. But look at how much is involved in making this work. There is some technology here involved in all of these lights, especially this one. So I thought, okay, I'm going to make a candle. You're going to see a theme going here. I'm big into Halloween, so mine are more Halloween related. But pick your favorite holiday. Maybe it's one of the Christmas. It's Christmas or one of the December holidays. This could change the color of this, and I could easily make this a holiday candle and change the colors, put some greenery. I wouldn't have to have a ghost and spider crawling out of it. So for this one, I used blow. So I push here. It's a 2-step one. So I push here by my finger. It turns the light on, but I thought they're not going to know what to do unless I use blow. And I need to leave that. You can see how bright that light is. I need to leave this open so that breath, however this works, when you blow on it, that turns the light out. Now, I will tell you, I had this on, and if people fail to blow on it, about a minute later, it automatically turns itself out. So it won't just stay on forever. And then your recipient have no idea if they don't blow more or less on that little mechanism. It won't stay on forever and ever. After about a minute, it turns off. So this one was fun. I used this candle set from Tim, but really any candle set. Again, birthday candles would be great for this. And this set is called Candle Shop, just in case you still have that. But if you have another candle, you want to do a birthday candle, a holiday candle, whatever you want to do. So let me open this up. Now this time I needed to put the mechanism on the base here and not here, because just the way the thickness worked, I also popped this up a little bit there at the top because I wanted this piece to be up as close to here as possible. I guess I could have done it the other way, but then this would be farther back. I wanted to bring this up. So in my mind, this was the best way for me to do it. If you wanted to flip it over, you could do that. But I think when we made this card and it's all closed up, we put the mechanism on the inside or the top of the card base there. So if this is the top of my card, same thing here. And then I pop this up just to hopefully help it stick out the little opening here a little better. And then, if I have this popped out a little bit, I don't have to push it all the way in there. Then I can get that candle blown out. And again, this is one of those where I played around with it a little bit to make sure that it worked. And next time I might put this little mechanism up a little higher in my opening and not so low. So again, you learn by doing. But I think this one is so neat. Great for birthday cards, but great for other candles. I'm thinking of some other ways I could use something that I would need to blow a light out. So that is the candlelight. My hand is that great Spellbinder's hand, heart hands. I did modify the thumb just a little bit so it looked more like, I don't know, a natural thumb by a candle. And then my ghost and the spider are from Tim Holtz's Halloween Vault dies from last year, a couple different sets. I already had those cut out, so I just grabbed them and decorated my candle. And then the last one that I'm going to show you again, sorry, Halloween, but this set, you'll be able to think of some other ideas besides Halloween. So I'm going to push this one, and you can see that those lights, okay, sometimes they all come on together, but generally, there we go. They move, they come on at a different time. And this is the Twinkle Light set. And again, there's 3 lights in this set. So that looks sort of like the other one that we had, the other 3 light combo, the Easy Lights. So these look very, very similar, but these twinkle, so they come on and off at different times. The first thing I thought of was, wow, these would be great on the stars, to pick out 3 different stars, have them twinkling on your card. Think about like maybe a Christmas tree. You might want 3 different lights on your Christmas tree that can twinkle. So there's a lot of different ideas for the twinkle lights. I'm thinking of another one that I'm going to do here hopefully soon. So just think, what holidays do you enjoy and how can you use these lights? So for this one, basically I did the same thing as I did for the other ones as far as putting it on the back of my top of my card, the decorated part. But here's what I did different this time. I'm going to open up my actual card, and I've got this little piece here I can pull out, and there I go. I can change out my batteries, but you don't see the whole inside of the card like you do here. So I will probably try to do more of my cards like this now. I just was thinking, how can I do something different than this? And so here I go. I went down to my stash and I was digging around for some stuff, and I thought, I think my favorite things has something I could use, and I didn't find exactly what I had imagined, but the first thing I came across was this. This is something I had created for like to hold a little record in, like a 45 record or something, like the little folder that we would put a record in. And I had this and I thought, oh my gosh, that would work. So I am able to basically cut a rectangle. This is a 2 by 2 inch square. And I'll show you this even though my measurements are different. But I just measured out, 2 inches there, 2 inches square. So this would be 4 by 2. I'm going to give you the measurements, what I used here. And then score it in half. On one side, before I cut it out, I added 1/4 of an inch so I'd have a flap. And I'm going to show you this. This might make more sense. It's basically like this die, except this end would be the same size as this end. The flaps works the same way. Then I punched a hole. This is 1¼ inch. That was big enough for my battery so I could get in there and access that. I don't want to make it so small I can't get it out. And then I just cut a piece of paper that I could slide in. And I would put instructions, about pull out if you want to change a battery or battery inside, whatever you want to do. And then when you line this up, my circle is off center here on my little folder. That way I could line it up closer to the top. So that will be obvious when you go to do that. You do need to kind of have this in position, and before you put everything together, you do need to punch your hole on the inside of your card base so it exposes your battery pack. So I had this all ready to go. When I positioned this on the outside or the card, I did think about don't get it too close to the end so that I could use this idea. And again, I can move this around to different positions. So when you make your card, before you put it all together, if you want to have your battery able to be changed out, just think of things like that. If you're going to just enclose it and it doesn't matter, and you're going to do something like this, and again, 99% of your recipients, this would work just fine, then you don't have to worry about all of this. But if you want to be able to change that battery out, if it dies, then this is another way to do it. And it's more enclosed, and it's not quite so open like this. But again, totally up to you. You'll figure out what works best for you. But those are the 5 kind of lights that they have. So we have the twinkle lights. We have the candle, which you can blow out. We have the halo light, which gives us that circle of lights. We have the easy lights, which gives us the 3 lights, like for our car. Now these don't twinkle, but there's 3 lights in that pack. And then we have the original 1 light, where we've got 1 light to light up the outside of our card. So thank you for watching. I know there's a lot of information. Again, get online. There's tons of videos out there on how people use them, and get on pearblossompress.com if you're interested in the lights and you want to see the different combinations. And if you're lucky enough to have a stamp and scrapbook store, a local store in your community, stop in there and see if maybe they don't carry these lights, because they are really a great way to make a special card for a special person. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again in the future video.